Well, get ready for sideline reviews at high school football games this fall. Yesterday's quarterly meeting of the Alabama High School Athletic Association Central Board in Montgomery, the governing body approved the use of instant replay beginning this fall in Alabama high school football. And Coach Savarese, who's the executive director, said, quote, "The purpose of the instant replay is to aid the officials in getting it right." Well, getting it right this morning is head football coach and athletic director, Coach Matt Griffith from over at Sylacauga High School. Matt, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Your first thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's going to be more of those schools that can afford the type of technology to do it.
So it's not everybody going to do it?
I don't think everybody's going to be able to do it. There's a thing out there. Everybody uses what's called a Huddle system. That's an online service to trade film. Huddle has a what's called a Huddle sideline, and what you do basically is you're filming a game, you have hooked your camera into a laptop. Mm-hmm. That laptop can then send the signal from Huddle down to the sidelines to another laptop that's hooked up to either a 50-inch screen TV or some type of monitor. It allows you to instantaneously take your offense off the field and review the film. And they started that about a year ago. You're going to have that type of technology.
Do we use that here?
We do not, because we don't have the manpower to be able to put all that together. We probably could afford to do it, but technology-wise, you know, we've got kids that are filming an end zone slot and that kind of stuff. I don't want to trust a 15-year-old kid with a 50-inch screen TV. Yeah. So. But you noticed it when we played Eufaula. Eufaula had that system, and he had come from Opelika, which is a 6A, 7A school. So you're going to see your bigger schools use it. The only drawback I think you have is it's very hard now. We're having a difficult time in the state of Alabama finding people who want to be officials. And then if you're having a hard time, it's hard to find quality officials. And, you know, how many times are you watching an NFL game or you're watching a college game, they get the replay wrong. You know, they get the targeting wrong. You're like, that's not targeting, but they're saying it's targeting. So I think there's going to be some difficulties with it. I think it was coming. It's part of football now, and it was just a matter of time before it spilled into the high schools.
And it extends the game.
Yeah, it extends the game. It's going to be, I don't think you're going to notice it at a fan unless you're at a Hoover, a Spain Park, a Central Phoenix City. You're not gonna notice it at Sylacauga or Childersburg or Winterboro. You're just not gonna see that much because it's not worth the money for the school to put into that.
Well, apparently Alabama's the first state to have instant replay available at all high school games, so you know, we're ahead of the curve there.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. It really will.
And again, this is something that's just developing, but you were aware that this was a possibility for a little while.
I saw it coming. I think the National Federation had approved some of it. I think they've had some test cases in some other places, and you know, the thing about Savarese is he's always on the cutting edge of what's going on in America as far as high school football. So I think he jumped on it pretty quick. It's going to be interesting to see how the schools that implement it, how they like it, how it works, and it may be something that doesn't work real well in high school, or it might help the game. You never know. I mean, at least you might not have a very controversial call and worry about parents on a gate waiting on an official and those kind of things. It was replayed, it was reviewed, they saw it, and it like I said, when you go to an Opelika game, you go to a Hoover game, they got the big jumbotrons, they're replaying a play already like you do when you go to Auburn, Alabama. So it was a matter of time before these big schools did this.
Yeah, and some of the spring games are going to kind of work with this and see how it works in some of their spring games.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be fun to watch, see how that all plays out.
Speaking of spring, a lot of spring sports over at Sylacauga High School. Update us on that.
Yeah, well, if you've not had an opportunity as a fan, most of our parents have seen it, but as a fan and as a resident of Sylacauga, if you've not been able to go over to and see our baseball ballpark and see our softball ballpark, you are missing out. Because I'm going to tell you what, it It is top of the line. It was really done well. We have had more schools come into those two complexes and bragging about Sylacauga, and it's something that we talked about the stadium for years, and I'm telling you, I've said it and said it and said it. You can go all the way back to 2005, 6, 7, and 8 of meeting with Mayor Sam Wright, meeting with City Council, meeting and saying, guys, it's worth doing because it is a reflection of our town and the things that people.
This was really a dream of yours.
It is a dream, and it was a dream to do it all the way we've done it. And I've always said it would have never happened. Dr. Freeman knew how to take money and stretch money. Okay. I know how to plan. I don't know how to stretch money. That's obvious in my own bank account. I don't know how to stretch anything, but it is, you're missing out. And I'm going to tell you something. Baseball last night qualified for the playoffs. You know, they missed out last year. It's one of the few years we didn't go.
A new coach this year.
Yeah, Jeff Bell's done a great job. Softball has just come out of the gate. I think they have played quality all year long. It's the best I've seen us play in a while. Their area tournament's coming up, so that'll be critical for them.
Young lady pitched a perfect game.
She did, and I think it's the first time in school history. Ansley Brown was her name. Soccer, both girls and boys are playing extremely well. They're both fighting for a region championship. Golf has won the county. Track, it will probably have up to 10 to 15 kids qualify for the state track meet. The sectional track meet is coming up. We're anxious to see that. That'll be down in Gulf Shores. And I hope I'm not forgetting a sport. Tennis continues to grow. Coach Cleveland had a great team a couple years ago. She's still really young with the tennis program. She had a lot of young kids this year. So, we're tickled to death. I mean, everybody's come out of the gate playing extremely well. You know, spring's chaos. You have got 6 to 7 sports all playing at the same time. You've got administrators trying to go everywhere to keep track of everything. But, man, I tell you, I have been so proud of our spring sports and how well they've played. And I'm just telling you, when you hear all the negative, and it's always out there because that's our culture, you turn on I can't even watch the news anymore, everything's so negative. Let me tell you something, there is a lot of positive things going on in Sylacauga, going on at Sylacauga High School and the middle school, and our sports programs, academically. I laid down last night with my wife. I said, you know what? We're not finished, but man, we have got a good thing going on. And I don't think people realize that. You need to get out and really talk to the people that are in the trenches of what's going on. Man, it's a good thing. There's a lot of good things going on.
As athletic director as well, all these sports have to be funded.
They do.
And you got a great product on the field, but you got to get butts in the seat, and raising funds is certainly important.
You do, and people don't realize this. Most, if not all, of your spring sports are not revenue oriented. That means they can't make enough at the gate to fund their sport. Their parents and their booster clubs do a phenomenal job of raising money so that we can have these sports, and that's critical. Really and truly, the only 2 revenue sports you have here are football and basketball. They can make it on gates. We do some extra fundraising on the side for the kids to have extra things, but it's the only 2 revenue sports you've got are football and basketball. Everybody else has to really hump it and really go out and raise money. Our parents do a great job, our coaches do a good job, but every time that you're coming to a game, and I know it gets expensive. I mean, I do. I can't imagine not being a football coach and bring a family of 4 to a football game. But that money generates right back to our kids. It really does, and it takes it to generate. When you go to a soccer game or a baseball game, and I know you may get upset with buying a hot dog or hamburger, if your kids were like my kids at 10, it was always a handout for cash to go get nachos and stuff. But that money...
Hot dogs taste better at a game, though.
Yeah, they sure do. It's all going back to our kids at Sylacauga. It's all going back to that program. And I really like the way we do things in our athletic department is that each booster club is running their concession stand. They're running their own thing. So if you're really, when you go to a baseball game and you buy a hot dog hamburger, you're contributing to baseball. You're not contributing to another sport. You're contributing to the sport that you went to see. And we try to do that across the board.
You touched on basketball, state champions, and that's another feather in the hat of Sylacauga athletics as those student athletes.
Blown away. I just, if you would have told me that group of kids, without a big man that can run in the middle, because we're always getting to a quarterfinal or semifinal game, and we don't have that big guy in the middle that's going to Alabama or going to UAB. We just had a group of kids that knew how to play, played hard together, and boy, they just never doubted that they could do this. I have been blown away. As a matter of fact, if you say that, well, I sat there and talked to our football team, because that's their teammates too. Our kids are real close. I said, guys, you know, I'll tell you what it taught everybody is that there's championship programs still at Sylacauga, and that every program is striving to be a championship program, and it can be done. You got to have the right mix, you got to have the right gel together, and you got to have kids that believe. And I tell you, I've never been as proud of a group. I've never been so proud on a personal level with our basketball coaching staff. That's a good staff. They're good Christian men. They love those kids. That they're disciplined with those kids. And like I say, you know, I cannot ask for a better staff right now for the most part at our school, and we're always striving to hire good people. Well, I tell you what, we got it. We've got a good group. We got a good group across the board.
Well, back-to-back Final Fours for the basketball guys and a state championship this year, so it's certainly going in the right direction. Finally this morning, Sylacauga again made the playoffs last year football-wise. Not satisfied. We want to go further and further. So spring practice, when does that get going?
That starts May 7th. That's a week later normally than we start. We're going to try to let the state track meet this year. Baseball, it will not affect us. Baseball would have to be in the semifinals for it to even affect a May 7th. So we tried to start as late as we could.
You have to jockey that schedule, though, don't you?
And I started a week later to stay out of the way of the state track meet, because last year we had about 12 kids that played football and went to the state track meet, so they missed a week of practice. Well, you only get 10 days. So we're going to start May 7th. We'll play Briarwood May 18th at Briarwood in a scrimmage, and looking forward to it. You know, kids have worked hard. You know, the unsung thing that people don't realize is that everybody likes to come to see the first game to see how our football team's going to play. They don't understand that group of kids since November have just been hammered in a weight room and hammered outside in conditioning when it's cold, when it's hot. It doesn't matter. It never goes away, and that group of kids, they're ready to get out of the weight room and they're ready to play football.
You got to love it, man.
You do, and listen, it's a grind, but it's something. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch kids mature. We maxed this week. It was a lot of fun in football for that. We're strong. We're bigger than we've been up front in a very long time. We've got some holes to fill. We always do. We're a little thin in some spots, but everybody's undefeated, so it's exciting.
Yeah. Now, since we last talked, wasn't there reclassification?
Reclassification, and you know, I'm sure we'll talk about more this fall, but we're excited. Instead of when the southern bracket, we have been taken into the northern bracket. We're excited about it. We're excited about being north instead of south.
Now, who is in that?
It would still be Clay and us. That would be the only holdovers, and they moved Mumford into it. You have Springville, St. Clair County, Mortimer Jordan, Center Point.
That's some good competition.
Good competition, good bracket, but it's one of those things. It may be the hardest region in the north, but like me and the head coach from Mortimer Jordan know each other real well. We were talking. Our fourth will beat somebody's one, and that's what you want. Yeah. You know, we're in that southern bracket. If you're not a 1 or 2, it gets difficult to get out of that bracket. So we're excited. Kids are excited about it. And so we'll see.
All right. Just spending a couple of moments with Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School. Graduation is upon us too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Listen, it never goes away till you can get out of school. It's something going on all the time right now.
All right. Appreciate you being with us.